Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Everyone knows that the supply chains are brutal right now. So while the folks at Madisonville Marine don't have their usual huge selection of boats on their lot, they do have a huge selection of boats because they carry more makes, models, brands than anybody else out there. So when it comes to ordering your next boat, if that's what you have to do, nobody has bigger, better selection than Madisonville Marine, regardless of the supply chains. But here's the thing. As boat companies continue to try and ramp up production, they're trying to ship those things out. If you're looking to get a boat for next spring, next boating season, you need to get in there now. Madisonville Marine is the place to go. Joe Special and his team are the folks to talk to. madmarine.com is the website to see, but head down Highway 411 North in Madisonville to talk to them. They are tremendous folks. All right. I was going to show something here, but I'll show that in a minute. Let's take a look at the scores. Tennessee's foes so far this year, and Vanderbilt's the only one left. Pittsburgh won. Tennessee Tech got crushed again. We talked about Missouri beating Florida. South Carolina upsets Auburn. Ole Miss wasn't a very impressive victory over Vanderbilt. I don't know what that says for Tennessee. We'll talk about that. Alabama has to hang on for dear life against Arkansas. Kentucky whips New Mexico State. Georgia takes care of business with Charleston Southern. Okay, here's my question, though, for you guys. We're off that. I'm not going to talk about a lot of that. Sobering fact for you first. Last 9 years, Vanderbilt 5 wins versus Tennessee. Tennessee 4 wins versus Vanderbilt. Who would have ever seen that? When I was growing up, if you'd told me that there would be a 9-year stretch where Tennessee was on the short end of the stick with Vanderbilt, I wouldn't have believed it. Okay. If someone came to you, though, let's talk about rivalries. Tennessee's year-in, year-out rivals, and here they are. It's mainly East Division teams. Let me see if I place that perfectly. That's all right. East Division teams plus Alabama. That's who you play year-in, year-out. If the SEC came to you and said, okay, you could pull one rivalry off the list and protect it, I'm guessing Vanderbilt isn't the first one you go running for. What's the first rivalry you protect if you're Tennessee? And that's how many times you've played them. Vanderbilt's in red because it will be 115 after this Saturday. The other numbers are up to date, I believe.
As a 90s baby, Florida's mine. That's the one I like the most.
Protect Florida, first of all?
I think you got to protect Alabama, don't you? I mean,
Alabama, you say exclude it. You said exclude Alabama, didn't you?
No, I said
keep it on there.
Yes.
You got to keep Bama, man.
Yeah, what's the first one you would protect?
Yeah.
Bama.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree with Bama.
Alabama.
Yeah.
What's the second one?
Florida.
I would go Kentucky. That's a border rival. That's heated. I would go Kentucky. Florida.
Kentucky, if they bring back the beer barrel.
Bring it back. And
Florida.
Yeah.
Florida.
Sterling switching up to a Florida.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
yeah.
You want to beat them. That's why you want to. Exactly.
Especially after they lost
Beat
to
them
Missouri.
bad.
Yeah, if they continue to swirl in that coaching turnover valley, yeah.
Florida.
Okay, so would we agree that would the Florida people agree that Kentucky would be third?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, and
Yes.
I would agree that Florida would be third. So Kentucky, Florida, Alabama have all been protected.
Well, and then
Georgia or
Time
Vanderbilt?
out. Time out. I didn't know. I didn't agree that Florida or Kentucky being third. Georgia.
You'd rather keep Georgia than Kentucky?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Was anybody else Georgia over Kentucky? I just looked.
No.
You've played Kentucky more than any other team in the
Yes.
history of the school, so I would have Kentucky over Georgia. But
That's
you've only
just
played
me.
Georgia. That's all right.
I think we all agree Georgia would be
Is
fourth.
Georgia next? Is Georgia ahead of Georgia's ahead of Vanderbilt?
I would go with Georgia.
Yep.
So you got 4 rivals aside from your in-state rivalry with Vanderbilt. That you got 4 teams ahead of them that you'd keep first. Would you keep South Carolina or Missouri over Vanderbilt? Anybody?
No.
No.
Nope.
Nah.
No.
I just thought it would be interesting to discuss
Well,
what
it is.
what that rivalry is. Go ahead, Chuck.
And Georgia, I would keep as much for recruiting
Yes,
as
yes.
anything else.
Yes.
And I would want to, if there's any kind of tiebreaker there, that's why I would go towards Georgia, keeping them.
Yeah. But here's the thing. When you look at that, so many people say they don't want to, get Alabama off the schedule. We don't want to play Alabama because we always lose to them. Vanderbilt, last 9 years excluded, go back the previous 100, that's been a guaranteed win. So shouldn't we be saying, oh no, keep Vanderbilt, that's a guaranteed win? It's funny, we dismiss it because it's kind of a guaranteed win. In my view, isn't that why we're nuking it? That and they have no fan support, and it's a tiny bandbox stadium. And
Well, what I think is
numerous other reasons.
I really want to keep them around because, if something does happen where they find another Franklin and there's a resurgence of the program, I still want Tennessee to be state champions.
And another thing is to look at the surge in people moving into the mid-state area, and that's even more of a recruiting area. Georgia's big, but the
So
Tennessee,
get your win every year against Vanderbilt.
yeah, and bring recruits there and watch you beat them.
Definitely beat them.
More orange in the stands than they have whatever.
I just think
Flamingo.
it's interesting that is your year in, year out rival. It's your closest rival. It's a team that you beat, and yet it ranks behind, in our mind at least, and I think most Vol fans would agree, Kentucky, Bama, Florida, Georgia, in whatever order.
Right.
Well, another way to look at that, I think if you lose to Vanderbilt out of that list, that one would tick you off more than any of them if you're a Tennessee fan.
True.
Losing to Vanderbilt.
And it has.
That's
So the last 9 years has. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the Tennessee-Vanderbilt game, what to expect from it. Chuck's going to set the line. Actually, he's not setting the line. He's already talked to his guys in Vegas at the Chuck Casino.
That's how I knew Tennessee basketball was 3-point favorite.
Yeah, he wears an earpiece. He just relays it over there at the board. He'll relay the pick next, and then we'll see if, it's our last week. We'll see if anybody catches up in the beat the house standing. Maybe I'll get generous and make a big bet and make it interesting.
And maybe you won't.
And maybe I won't. Come on back.